Okay, let's try these two. In part 4, I'm going to let you know how things are going in my indoor kitchen, what I've learned so far. And of course, with any kind of gardening, you've got to water, you've got to feed your plants, and you've got to pot up. So we're going to do all that and more, so stay tuned. Well, one important thing I've learned that I did not consider, because I thought, I'm indoors, I'm not going to have pests. No, 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 no. Yes, you still do. And the ones that I have are of the gnat variety. And you saw me install these in part 3. And look in just a couple of days how many I've gotten. Okay, so the gnats were a bit of a revelation, and it just seemed like they came out of the soil. I haven't researched it. I've never done an indoor garden before. You're learning with me. I am inspiring you to try this on your own, and I'm going to tell you what the challenges are. This is a challenge, luckily, that can be solved. There are products out there that can help. Now, you don't want to use an insect pesticide on your indoor garden if you're growing any kind of edible plants, which I am. So I got these sticky traps, and the gnat just sticks onto it when they fly by. They're attracted to the yellow, and they fly and they just get stuck, and that's the end of that. Their lifespan is not that long anyway, so you're just cutting their lifespan short by just a wee bit. So I want to show you how the plants are doing. I'm going to pot the okra seedlings up into the plant-based cups like I did in part 3. All of this stuff has to be taken care of. This is really exciting. I didn't think there was a chance in the moon that I would have an eggplant growing in my kitchen, but there is a bloom. I'm going to do a little research and find out if eggplant is self-pollinating like tomatoes. By the way, several people corrected me from my tomato pruning video and told me that tomatoes are self-pollinating. You know, I didn't have to worry about this because I was always growing tomatoes in the garden. And I always had a lot of bees in the late bloomer garden. We don't have many bees here, so I was concerned about that. But you can self-pollinate your tomatoes with an electric toothbrush by massaging each of the flowers from the back. And I tried this, and you can actually see the pollen fly out. So I'm going to show that to you. Okay, I'm all set up with a small amount of soil in this inexpensive plastic tub in the sink to keep things a little neat. And you can't work with your whole big batch in the kitchen so easily, so I'm going to work in small batches. And to save time, I've already mixed up my amendments in this bag. You can see in part 3 and a number of my other videos what I use in my potting mix. But this includes a slow release organic fertilizer, azomite, and a few other things. So I'm just going to add this much. Do as many seedlings as I can in this one batch. Then I'll mix up another batch. Okay. I have drilled 2 holes in the bottom of each of these cups. Probably an easier way to do this, but what I pointed out last time is, you know, you find your working method. You find what works for you in your space, and that's what I'm in the process of doing here. So these are the ones that we're going to be popping out. Just pops right out. If you know me, you know I love okra, and I love to grow okra. I've never had a big crop. And these are going to have to be grown out at my friend Benita's house because I don't have space here. But that's not going to deter me. Just going to stick a fingerful in there. Do one in each way. Let's see. First. These are a little dry and they fall apart, so I think it's probably a good idea to do this when they're moist. Okay. Beautiful roots. Lovely. Okay. You know, I always find it hard. You start out with gloves and you wind up with no gloves, and you can't always use your gloves. You have much better sense of touch without the gloves. And touching soil actually is a mood modifier that actually lifts your spirits. I believe this batch of soil is going to get us through the okra. I'm going to do 3 more if I can manage it. Try. And one of these is a cucumber. It's kind of growing out sideways, but it's got some nice roots. I'm going to give it a chance. And these 2 okra, which are kind of limp and smaller, I'm going to hold off on. And what's left, you see what's left? Is I've got some Egyptian spinach here, and I've got about 7 peppers and 6 Egyptian spinach, and this is a pepper, and these are peppers coming. Remember that rule I said about washing your dishes and putting them away before you start? Just going to give these a little water. Get them off to a good start. Okay, these look awesome. And let's move on to the 2 tomato plants. I'm going to run through the same procedure. And my amendments. Let's finish up the cucumber. Find something to put that in. Okay. So we are going to pot up these amazing tomato cuttings. It might be smarter actually to cut this off since it's such a low branch. But it's got a flower, 2 flowers on here. This one too. Okay. Now these cups are not very deep. I'm going to put them all the way down first and then fill up the cup. So it starts off at the very bottom. These are going to be potted up fairly soon. We're potting up cuttings. That's a seedling. These are cuttings. Oh yes, this one last one. Look, you saw this in the video. I gotta give this tomato cutting a chance because it's worked so hard to stay alive. I'm going to take that off. That leaf looks a little worse for wear. I'm going to be very curious to see if it turns into anything after being in the window in water forever. Because this little tomato has just been in water for weeks. I have put some fish fertilizer in the water that I'm going to water these with. Okay. Now, while the light is still hitting this spot, let me show you this amazing pollination with the electric toothbrush. I think it's already done its thing. What about this one? Oh yes, I could see it. I don't know if you could see that. Oh my goodness, look at that pollen flying out. Yep. Wow, that one had a lot in it. I just wanted to point out this amazing sweet potato. If you recall, we potted this up in part 2, and look at it. Look at all these slips that have come out. Now, I did plant the other half of this in another pot, and I said, why should I be growing more than just this many? So you see, I see gnats in here. It's like the soil grows gnats. I don't know. But this is stunning, and I will be clipping these and putting them in water. And I will have plenty of slips to grow sweet potatoes. This is a 1.7 gallon pot, and it's not nearly enough for a tomato, but this tomato is going to be much happier than it is in this not even a half-gallon pot. So I think that this pot will be okay for a month anyway. We've already got the amendments in the soil. It's been in here way too long. But other things took priority. And you will find when you're gardening, either indoors or outdoors, if you take on more than you can handle, something might slip through the cracks. And this tomato has survived in spite of the lack of attention. Okay, that came out very nicely. It didn't have nearly enough space for its roots in that little pot. And what I'm going to do is I am going to plant it in the bottom. And because the leaves are not diseased, I'm going to cut them right in to the pot for organic matter. This is not its forever home, so I'm not worrying about mulch right now. I'm just giving it a space to stretch its roots out. And I need to do the same thing with my eggplant. It is 6:24 and I have got to really rush because I've got to get outside and water before the sun goes down. My plants are in real need. So I am going to quickly pot up the eggplant. That should take care of the eggplant for at least a month. The sun is going down. I've got to get outside and water my plants. I said in the beginning I would be sharing some things I'm learning along the way Well, it's actually something I learned a long time ago in Late Bloomer Garden 1.0, and I said it often. A garden is never perfect, and it's never done. And if you don't get all the work done today, there's always tomorrow. And tomorrow will be just as fun and just as educational as it is today. Thanks so much for watching this channel, liking my videos, and especially sharing them with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, as it is today. So, I gotta let all this stuff go till tomorrow. Minor mistake there. My toothbrush was still wet. If you enjoyed this video, please watch these. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'll see you in the next video.